well, we were playing for Nebraska at that time. We went to the game because we had partners on the basketball team too. And during the pregame warm-up, Oklahoma was warming up right in front of us, and we was right behind the bench. So we had heard about him. So we trying to rattle him a little bit. Yeah, we trying to get him off his game during pregame warm-up. And so every time they go for a layup or something, like in warm-up, we'd be like, "Yo, man, I bet you can't dunk." He look over at us and he smile. Then he go up there and he would go for the layup. Then he get way above the rim and just drop the ball off in there. He wouldn't dunk it. He was just letting us know, I got hops. Welcome to the Look Like Somebody podcast. I'm your host, Ricky C. Simmons. I've been having fun with this, man, and I'm really, really honored. I've been having some very, very special guests. They've been very helpful with this process. So for those of you that maybe is tuning in for the first time, I just want to say welcome. There will be a lot of laughing. There are going to be some ups and some downs. But we try to cover it all on this podcast because I think it's very important that people really know what's going on in the world because so many people are trying to keep things on the low. But I got a guest today. It's like a little brother. So we ain't really got no script. We just going to have fun with it. But I want y'all to know about this guy, man. This dude has had a very, very, very extraordinary life. And a lot of people, they've heard of him, but they don't know what they're going to know after watching this podcast. Marcus Dupree, welcome to the show, man.
Well, I appreciate it, my man. I'm here for you. Anytime you call me, just call me. You're
right. Hey, and you're right, because every time I call, you answer. Matter of fact, I think the one time I called, you had to calm me down. So thank you, man. I really appreciate this. Before we get started, I want to always make sure that I show love and give you your props because, man, people are busy, and I understand that. And everybody's going to understand it after this podcast, how busy you are. So for you to make time for me, it means a lot, man. So I just want to get that in there. But Marcus, man, for a lot of the people that don't know who Marcus Dupree is, let's bag up and go back to the beginning. Where is Marcus Dupree from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in a little town called Philadelphia, Mississippi.
Philadelphia, Mississippi, man. What's the population of Philadelphia, Mississippi, man?
Back then it wasn't but 5,000 people, but now it's up to around 30,000, 40,000 people now.
Oh, so y'all blowing up. Okay.
We're growing up to big boy status for a minute.
Hey, but look, man, when you was growing up in this town of 5,000 people, man, what did you do every day, man? Because, it don't seem like it was a very large place. So what was a day like?
I was blessed. At the time, I was blessed to have a lot of good friends around. And we had a lot of our parents kept us busy. We was in Boy Scout, Cub Scout. We played organized baseball, Little League. All we did was play sports year round.
Oh, okay. So y'all kept something going.
We definitely, our parents kept us busy, kept us out of trouble.
Right.
Definitely kept us out of trouble. Because, being in a small town, you can easily get in trouble when ain't nothing going on. But we was blessed to be able to have parents to be supporting all the guys that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. And so it worked out for the best.
Well, Marcus, man, I'll be honest with you, man. I happen to have a little more knowledge than most of the people that may be listening. But, man, I want you to just, be as honest with us as you can, man. When you start playing organized ball, what was that like for you, man?
Well, let's see. I started playing organized football and sports and all that, like the 5th grade, I guess.
Yeah.
And I was looking forward to it because, I got tired of playing. You get tired of playing the guys you grew up with in your backyard or in your front yard. Like, Man, let's go. It's time to go move up. It's time to step up. So when we got a chance to play organized football, baseball, or basketball, or whatever, we was trying to excel at every sport.
Wow, man. So what sports, when you say every sport, what all did you play, Marcus?
Well, being from a small town, I played everything: baseball, little league baseball. I ran track. I played basketball. Naturally football. So we didn't have the stuff that the kids got today. Wasn't no soccer. Wasn't no golf or nothing like that.
You had to find an open field and get a ball.
We had to make the basic stuff, make it work.
Right. Well, look here. When you got to, I'm gonna say when you got to like junior high, I'm just gonna say middle school, I guess is what they call it now. You had already showed flashes that you had potential, or am I wrong there?
Well, I guess so. I mean, every year I would win remember the punt, pass, and kick?
Yes.
I would always win that in the state, and then I guess so. Now, back then middle school was like 7th and 8th and 9th grade.
Right.
When I grew up.
Right.
So, yeah, I guess you could say that people were starting to talk about Marcus Dupree. I made faces in the crowd in Sports Illustrated in like the 7th grade or something like that.
Wow. See, that's an accomplishment right there. Because coming from a town populating 5,000, to be even mentioned, less known, a part of Sports Illustrated, that's huge. Now, Marcus, yeah. I know for a fact, once you did hit that high school, man, I don't know how to say this in a politically correct way, so I'm just going to say it like this. You start committing felonies on that football field, man.
Well, I started in the 9th grade. My mom really didn't want me to play and move up, to high school in the 9th grade because I didn't play my 9th grade year. I played high school. So wow. She was kind of worried, but, my friends like, Mr. Dupree, he's bigger than everybody else in high school, so I think he'll be all right. So, I started off in the 9th grade playing free safety and receiver. I had in punt returns and kick returns. So I had 13 touchdowns as a 9th grader.
Wow.
And I carried the ball every now and then. So,
and this was this varsity?
Yes.
Wow, in the 9th grade, man. That's saying a lot because a lot of times you have to be really developed in the 9th grade to play varsity, dude, because varsity ain't no joke. So you went out there, you didn't only just participate, you shined as a freshman.
So if anybody seen my 30 for 30, the black and white, the very first clip in the black and white in my 30 for 30, I was in the 9th grade. They kicked off and I ran my first touchdown, the first kickoff, and it was like an 80-yard touchdown. And so if you go back to the 30 for 30, you watch that first black and white clip of me return the kick, I was in the 9th grade in that film.
And hey, I'm telling y'all need to get your Googles out because you can Google this, I'm sure. 30 for 30, it's ESPN, so this is top
the best it never was. Yeah.
This, like I said, y'all, we got a lot to cover, so I want y'all to stay tuned and pay attention because if you walk away, you might want to pause this one until you come back because there's going to be a lot of information going out. Marcus, okay, as a freshman, you started showing these signs. Now, sophomore year, what was that like?
Well, let's just back up though, Rick. When I ran track,
okay,
I made it to the state. We were just running just to be running. I know how to run. I was a 9th grader. I was at 9th grade. I think I was 175, whatever.
Right.
But I ran against a guy named Calvin Smith. He was from Sumter Hill, Mississippi. Now, Calvin, at one time, he ended up signing a scholarship in track at the University of Alabama. And he ran a 9.300. Mm-hmm. I ran a 9.5, but Calvin was 135, 120. And so...
Yeah, you was bigger than him as a freshman.
Yeah, but he eventually became one of the fastest humans at one time at the University of Alabama. So he's the only person that ever beat me in the 100-yard dash.
And you was a 9th grader?
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Hey, man, I'm just sitting there thinking, so basically from your freshman year, and correct me if I'm wrong, but from your freshman year of high school, you started doing things that a lot of upperclassmen were not doing. Is that
Right.
Is that fair?
Exactly.
Well,
That's fair.
Okay. Well, man, I'm trying to set this timeline because I already know where we're headed, but I want everybody else to know where we're headed and how we got there. Man, as a sophomore, can you tell me about that season?
Well, so my cousins, they were a year older than me, and so when they moved up to juniors. I was a sophomore, and they said, their class, they had won the junior high championship, but they didn't have a running back. And so once I moved into the 10th grade and they moved up to juniors, we started developing that championship team because I was the missing part that they needed, and a couple of other guys that was in my class. So we started dominating. I think we went 9-2 at 9-3 that year. We didn't make the state playoffs, but I still had 2,000 yards rushing. I forgot how many touchdowns, but overall I had close to 8,000 yards rushing. But most of the time, as a sophomore, I didn't even play the whole game because we were already beating people by halftime.
Yeah. So y'all was coming out. So if I'm understanding correctly, this pretty much happened just the whole time you was in high school, really. Because Marcus, I mean, we just got to the sophomore year, and you done already rewrote the record books for the state, not just for your school. So I guess what I'm trying to say in a nice way, man, is, man, that's amazing, dude. I mean, let's keep going, man. So what was that junior year like?
So junior year, we were ranked. We were only a 2A high school now, but we were beating 3A, 4A, 5A, and 6A schools.
Wow.
So we go into our junior year, we ranked number one. Well, they ranked us like maybe number 5.
Uh-huh.
And then by the second or third ball game, they had ranked us number 1. Then nobody wanted to play us. I mean, we were slaughtering teams.
And y'all was 2A.
We had 80 guys on the team.
Yeah.
And so we were deep in every position. I mean, like I said, these are guys I grew up with in my neighborhood. So we knew how each other thought, but our main goal was to try to get scholarships so our moms wouldn't have to, pay for us to go to college. So everybody's out there busting their butt, as you go up a class, go up another level,
right.
You're going some guys are going to drop off, but just luckily my junior year, I mean, like I said, we were dominant. I mean, but nobody trying to play the Philadelphia High School Tornadoes.
So and I'm trying to make sure I got this right. Y'all was a 2A school, and y'all had 3A, 4A, 5A schools scared to play y'all.
Anybody who stepped on the field with the Philadelphia Tornadoes that year did not want to play the Philadelphia Tornadoes.
Say it was a problem.
We were a big problem.
I mean, the reason why I'm laughing is because 2A schools normally is just the opposite. They don't want to see no 3A. They don't want to see no 4A. They sure don't want to see 5A. And y'all just totally flipped the script.
Oh, no. They didn't want to see the Tornadoes roll in town.
So the Tornadoes come in. It's a misunderstanding about to happen.
It was about to be a bad misunderstanding. So what happened my sophomore year, we played a 5A school, and they were platooning, right? They had offense and defense. So my high school coach came back in the spring and said, we're getting everybody out of band, everybody that's in study hall. If you're in the library, you're going to be playing football. And so the next year, that's how we ended up with 80 people when we were 3 deep in each position.
Oh, okay.
Me and my cousin were the only people every now and then that went both ways my junior year. Every now and then I would play free safety and he would play defensive end, but he was a tight end also. And he also signed scholarship at Ole Miss. But like I said, we were deep in all positions and nobody wanted to see us. I promise you.
Well, now this is the part that I know is very well documented. It's your senior year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm serious, man. You lucky you didn't have charges pending on you your senior year. Because I saw a lot of your clips from high school, man. And at that time, I mean, I think I was already at Nebraska, but man, we was hearing the talk. And Marcus, be honest with you, man, and this ain't, I mean, I ain't trying to be funny enough, but dude, you look like a man amongst boys up there. I mean, it was almost unfair because it was kind of like, you know what it reminded me of? Some of your runs when you would break those long ones, it was like they couldn't catch you, but even if they got close, it was still a problem because you ain't trying to go down. So you was throwing people down, stiff arming people. I'm like, man, I mean, who gonna tackle this dude? And be honest with you, I was kind of hoping that you wouldn't come into the Big Eight, because I mean, I saw what I needed to see, and man, I mean, can you just kind of walk us through that senior season, man? Because that was a season of a lifetime.
Well, you know, I had a couple other guys, but my cousins, they all had graduated, so it was just me and a couple of other guys. So we were kind of not the same team that we were before, but those teams that we had beat, they were coming after us. And so I just had to do what I had to do, try to keep, you know, we only went 9-3. I think we didn't make the state playoffs. But it ended up being a pretty good year, and, you know, all the recruits were coming in town. I was just watching a video on a guy that was from Louisiana. So Gary James, who played down in New Orleans, and Dalton Hilliard. So Oklahoma were recruiting them. And so this one guy, I'm gonna have to send you that video, Rick. So somebody just sent it to me on TikTok last month, and he was talking about, you know, he had heard about this guy named Marcus Dupree out of Mississippi. So him and all his buddies, they skipped school. They had a bye week, and they come up to Philadelphia, Mississippi. And so happened, he said that one of his cousins lived in Philadelphia. He's like, man, you got to be here by 4 o'clock. He's like, 4 o'clock? He's like, why? He said, man, because you can't get a seat. I mean, we had more people in the stands than we did in the whole town. So he's like, funny. Man, it's like the guy you got to see it, Rick. It's crazy. This guy said it was like a freaking concert. He's like, man, people everywhere. He said, man, when the Philadelphia Tornadoes came out the dressing room, it was like the Beatles that showed up. He's like, I was like, yeah. Then back then, Rick, you know, we had those tearaway jerseys.
Oh yeah,
So they banned the tearaway jerseys after my senior year.
Well, I understand, because if they grab a jersey, that's all they got.
That's all they were gonna get.
Marcus, you end up having one of the top careers of anybody of all times, and if you can remember, man, tell me what you ended up for stat-wise in high school. Just curious.
I think it was like 8. I know it was like, and then I was just talking to the Hall of Fame in Canton the other day. I said, you know, they got me down like 8,000 yards and some change for his rushing. But I said, I don't even really think that. I said, that's just rushing. I said, they didn't even count my punt returns or my kickoff returns.
Wow. So over 8,000 yards rushing. Dude, do you know how many yards that is? Come on, man. I mean, was anybody on the field with you, or you just out there by yourself, man?
Hey, I'm just trying to eat, Rick. I was just trying to eat.
So you were putting in work, 8,000 yards, man. Come on, I'm sitting there thinking, in 4 years, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy, dude.
And 87 touchdowns. Like I said, some of the times we didn't even. I see my high school coach now. He's like, Marcus, I wish I'd have left you in the game the whole game. And he said, you've set records that nobody would ever broken.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they're still going to be hard to break. I mean, because
I was like,
87 touchdowns. That's how I
go. And, you know, he didn't want to hurt the coach's feeling on the other sideline. I said, but coach,
hey, man,
just remember that I ain't going to be here all the time.
Right.
They're going to remember. I said, when I leave here, they're going to try to tear your mouth out.
Well, you know, the thing was back then for me and for a lot of schools, I'm sure it was the same way for y'all. If you don't want him scoring so much, stop him.
That's it.
Yeah.
Stop me.
Yeah, and it sounded like they wasn't having much success stopping you, because you cannot get those type of stats, not if they're stopping you. So apparently, apparently they probably threatened to kick you out of school because you wouldn't go to recess. You wasn't playing with them folks, man. You wasn't playing with them folks. And man, you know what? I will say this. I can only imagine, and this is what I want to go to next. I can only imagine the frenzy that was going on in Philadelphia when you completed your high school career, far as people recruiting.
Oh yeah. Everybody.
Let's talk about that.
Everybody come to town. Everybody came to town. Everybody except Tom Osborne.
Everybody except Tom Osborne.
Let's just put that out there. Let's just put that out there now.
Hey man, look here. I can't understand why he didn't show up though. That's because we could have definitely used you. I promise you that. We'd have put you to work. I guarantee that. Some of the schools that recruited you though, Marcus, man, share some of the.
Any of the top 25, I had 300 schools recruit me at Michigan, Oregon, USC, LSU, Pittsburgh, Ohio State, Michigan, Oklahoma, Texas A&M. I mean, the list keep going.
So I'm gonna keep it simple for you. Everybody that was somebody.
Anybody that was somebody who could come to the table, can eat at the table.
So everybody out there. It's kind of like that song. Everybody love me. Teach me how to duck.
Teach me how to duck. Teach me how to duck. Yeah. That's that right there.
So with this process going on, man, I mean, because I remember the recruiting process. That's a pretty extensive and it's a serious time.
Yeah.
What?
Before the season started, we had to sit down with the principal, my mom, and my high school coach. So we had a strategy and a schedule.
Okay.
For coaches just didn't pop up or nothing like that. So they had to check in. And then my mom had a rule: don't show up at my house until after 5 o'clock because she taught school in a whole nother county.
Oh,
so she would have to drive from that county to come back home. And so she usually didn't get home till 4 o'clock or 4:30. Okay, so she's like, don't come to the house until 5 o'clock. So that's how we kept it. And everything was pretty smooth. People thought it was a lot of pressure. I was just enjoying the ride because we had worked so hard as kids and had visions as kids to be in the position that I was in. So it wasn't really a lot of pressure. It was just trying to make sure, decide I go to the right school.
Well, I've heard rumors, and you please feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard rumors that a good friend of both of ours showed up at your high school, and he was from the University of Oklahoma, but I think at the time he might have been in the league with the Detroit Lions. I heard, this is just hearsay, I heard Billy Simmons showed up in Philadelphia. Is that true?
That's right. Earl Campbell, too.
Earl Campbell, too? Man, you at the Tyler Rose? Man, you know what? I'm just sitting there thinking, now that you say that, do you remember some of the people that showed up?
Man, this is not right off the bat, but, I know Billy did, Earl did. I had a call from Bo Derek. No, it wasn't Bo Derek. It was Farrah Fawcett.
Farrah Fawcett.
Yeah, she was hot. She was hot as a firecracker back then.
Yeah. She was definitely on everybody's radar.
Yeah, no doubt about that. You couldn't miss her.
Well, let me ask you this. You said, see, I'm trying to clarify. I know who you're talking about, but I want to make sure the audience know. You said Billy Sims and Earl Campbell.
And Earl Campbell, yeah.
Wow. I mean, if you're in the sports world, you got to know those names. And for those of you that don't know those names, they got this thing, I just heard about it, man. It's called Google. You're going to have to get on you need to get your Google out and make sure that you Google Billy Sims and Earl Campbell. And then you will understand why I'm kind of in awe of that, man. I mean, those are big time people that came to see you. Is there more people that we would recognize?
Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz, absolutely.
What was the coach? Bo Schembechler.
Yeah, Michigan.
Bear Bryant. I used to go to practice all the time when I was a sophomore and go up in the tower with Bear Bryant and watch practice.
And that's at Alabama.
Alabama.
Alabama. Roll Tide. You know what, man? You could have pretty much picked any school you wanted to go to. You could have went to any school in the nation, really. I mean, and that, you know, and I'm saying this, y'all, because I want y'all to understand something. Marcus is sharing this because I'm asking him. He don't brag about this stuff. That's why I had to ask these questions so that he will speak about them, because I want y'all to understand this dude is a humble man, and sometimes it comes across as bragging, but no, I don't look at it like that. I look at it as facts. It is what it is. So we got to give credit to that, and I'm real big on giving people credit, especially when they've earned it. And 8,000 yards, man, you done ran from Mississippi to Texas.
Halfway to California.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. On a football field, it's only 100 yards long. So every time they saw you, they probably saw the back of you. I mean,
Rick, if I had been playing this spread offense they playing in right now, it'd have been unreal.
Oh yeah, because I know they were stacking the box. I mean, everybody in the nation know they're gonna run the ball, and they putting eight people up on the line of scrimmage basically. And if they ain't on the line of scrimmage, they real close to whoever on the line of scrimmage. So they weren't even trying to stop the pass.
Right.
Yeah, we're gonna stop Marcus Dupree, and you still didn't stop him. Hey man, look here. I'm not a rocket scientist, but I understand what I understand. If I put 8 people in the box because I know y'all gonna run the ball and we still can't stop you, man, look here. There ain't no such thing as making adjustments. It's a problem. It's a problem. Now, Marcus, after you got done with high school, man, you wind up choosing the school that I wanted to go to. I hate to admit to that, but I didn't get to go because parents wasn't trying to hear it. But you end up going to the University of Oklahoma. How did Barry figure that out? I mean, out of all them coaches we done talked about, how did Barry get you, man? If you can share that.
I like what Billy was talking about, and then I went to Texas first, and I went to Oklahoma because I had committed to Texas. And my mom said, "No, I think you deserve to take all your trips, so go and take that last trip to Oklahoma." And I did, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the guys there. They were some of the first teams to have a black quarterback. I really admired that. And plus, in high school, we pretty much ran the wishbone the whole time when I was in high school until my senior year. We went into the I formation, but we pretty much ran the wishbone, so I liked that part of it. And the fans up there are just like Nebraska fans. They're diehard. Right. And I really enjoyed my recruiting trip up there. And so I said, this is a place for me to be.
Well, let me ask you this. Now, you said y'all ran the wishbone in high school.
Yeah.
You got to Oklahoma, and you made them change the whole offense.
Well, they did. We know we ran the wishbone. Then I guess, they had Stanley Wilson up for the Heisman Trophy. And so, Coach Phillips was giving me grief at first, like, we recruited a big tight end. I said, Coach, he come here to play tight end. So let's get that point across to you right there.
Say tight end ain't part of the deal.
Right, that ain't in the deal. So eventually, he saw the light, especially, because at that time they had like the number 1 or 2 defenses in the country. Yeah. And so we went into our first scrimmage and all the upperclassmen talking noise, and I'm just like, I'm laid back like I am now. Okay. And, I ran hard in high school, and I didn't have no big linemen. I said, "Ooh, wait till I get some big linemen in front of me. It's gonna be history." and that's what happened.
Wow.
A couple. I ain't gonna call their names because we talk about it now, but. Yes, I have. Jackie Ship came to me in lunch. And was like,
That's my little brother too, Jackie Ship.
Yeah. Jack came to me at lunch. I'll never forget. He said, "We finna find out what you all about today." And I looked at him and just smiled, just like this.
Yeah. Like his own and popping.
Not too long ago, he came to me and said, "Man, I never told you this. Now, mind you, I had like 9 carries, 150 yards against the number 1 defense, supposedly a 2 defense in the country as a freshman. So he came to me not too long ago. He said, man, that first scrimmage, he said, man, it was just me and you in the hole. He said, I'm getting ready to lay the boom on you. He said, next thing I know, I'll see the bottom of your feet going 80 yards down the sideline.
And we talking
said,
about.
I thought we was finna knock heads, man. He said, you come up in the hall and gave me a shake and bake, and next thing I know, you popped it out. And he said, I never touched you. I said,
and you talking about a guy that went first round to the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh, see, I'm trying to put this in perspective for the people that are listening. We ain't talking about just somebody that just may want to try out for the team. We talking about a future first-round draft choice to the Miami Dolphins. And he never touched you.
He never touched me.
Man, Marcus, man, I'm just sitting there thinking all of these games, they were big games back then too. Like the Red River shootout. That's always a nationally televised game for as long as I can remember. And it was always a game that everybody had marked on the calendar because they knew that was going to be a tough game.
Right.
Man, I saw you first quarter. You was it was like you was playing with them. You wasn't really trying to do much. And then somebody must have said something or done something, but man, I got the highlight reel off of YouTube. They played it to Michael Jackson, "Don't Stop Till You Get Enough."
Yeah.
That was the music. And they showed you just running through Texas defense like they wasn't out there, man. I couldn't do nothing but laugh because it was so funny. Then they would mix in other clips from other schools. And, man, I'm be honest with you, man. I would have hated I didn't like contact no way, but I would have really hated to play defensive back because I saw how you did old boy from Kansas, man, when you broke that.
Oh, yeah, I was watching that last night.
Oh, man, look at him, man. See, when you're doing people like that, man, and there's cameras around, that's causing an assault, Marcus.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, it's an assault.
But we couldn't go to jail. That's what we're so good about.
Well, see, if you was on the street and you done that, you be in jail.
No doubt. No doubt about it.
He ran up like he was going to do something, boy, and it wasn't good. I bet you if he could rethink that, he probably would have changed his mind on that one. That was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he didn't think I was watching the whole time out of the corner of my eye coming across. I said, he got an angle on me, but he going to catch this stuff on time and get up on me.
It's so funny. I challenge everybody that's listening, when you get a chance, you need to really Google Marcus Dupree, too, because we're going to cover a whole lot more. Don't misunderstand me. But an hour isn't enough time to cover what this man has accomplished. Now, Marcus, you had a period after your freshman year. What happened at OU?
Uh-huh.
I said, what happened after your first year at OU?
So after my first, we went to the Fiesta Bowl. I set the Fiesta Bowl record, and then it just seemed like things just got crazy. I was just gonna say I should have, which he was that. Now that was true. He said I should have had 500 yards in the game, which is true. And I look back at it now, I should have had 500 yards, but it just a bunch of stuff started happening and miscommunications and stuff like that, and so my sophomore year I come back and we played Texas. I got a concussion in Texas, and I knew if I come back to school, I know they're gonna try to make me play. I was sick as a dog, and I just thank God that He gave me the wherewithal to know that you can't go out there and play not with this concussion.
Right.
So back then they didn't know nothing really about it because they give you feeling salt and put you back out there. So I'm so thankful that that didn't happen.
Yeah, so, excuse me. Usually they just ask you how many fingers you see.
Right.
2 fingers? Get back in there. You're all right. Yeah, I get it.
Yep.
Now, you became real good friends with a dude that's no longer with us, man, and I remember him too. I just want to show him a little love, and his wife, I think, still lives in Tulsa. His Wayman Tisdale.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah. You and Wayman got to be pretty close, huh?
Oh yeah, that was like my homeboy from home. We went to church, and after the games, we would drive up to Tulsa and go to church. His dad was a minister. His other brother who played basketball there at OU.
Yeah.
He played the drums, I think, and then his other brother played the guitar, and Wayman played the bass, upside down bass for right-handed people.
Yeah.
But it was a good, it was good to be able to go to church and hang out with Wayman's family, and he was definitely a blessing in my life. His whole family were. Man, we see William when we go to Tulsa and play that golf tournament up there all the time.
Yes,
so
yes.
It was definitely a blessing for me, and a chance to get away from campus and enjoy regular life. So
right.
It was a good deal. So Wayman, I miss Wayman, but I talk to his wife all the time. I see his kids, and I see William, and definitely he was a definite blessing in my life.
Yeah, well, man, I just wanted to show him some love because he did something when the Oklahoma basketball team came to Nebraska. Me and 4 or 5 former players, we were playing for Nebraska at that time. We went to the game because we had partners on the basketball team too. And during the pregame warm-up, Oklahoma was warming up right in front of us, and we was right behind the bench. So we had heard about him. So we trying to rattle him a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we trying to get him off his game during pregame warm up, and so every time they go for a layup or something, like in warm up, we'd be like, "Yo, man, I bet you can't dunk." He look over at us and he smile. Then he go up there and he would go for the layup. Then he get way above the rim and just drop the ball off in there. He wouldn't dunk it. He was just letting us know I got hops, and so. Next time, this is the one that really made us laugh, man, because we said, okay, I bet you can't 360 dunk. He went down there, 360 and got above the rim again and then just dropped the ball and looked at us and smiled. I said, hey, man, look, we in trouble tonight. We ain't got nobody can jump with that dude. But no, man, Wayman, I'm sorry, rest in peace, man. He seemed like he was a really good dude. I never got to really meet him like you did.
Right, it was so solid, man. It was so solid. So
yeah, he was a good dude. Well, Marcus, now you said things got crazy for you after that first year.
Yep, kind of, sort of.
Can you share with us?
Swiss had talked all that junk about the Fiesta Bowl. He tried to blame the game on me, which I wasn't trying to hear it. My mama wasn't trying to hear it because. There is a defensive team that could have tried to stop Arizona State. They were passing the ball. We couldn't defend the pass. So that was the problem. Instead of saying that, don't blame the game on me. I had 250 yards. What else you want me to do?
And you was MVP.
Thank you. On a losing team. Who do that?
Yeah, on a losing team. Yeah.
Google that. Tell you people to Google that. Whoever been the MVP on a losing team.
Y'all heard him. He said, Google if you ever heard of a person making MVP.
Out, please let me know.
MVP on the losing team.
No MVP being on the losing team.
That very rarely, if ever, has ever happened. So I got to agree with you on that. So after that, Marcus, you was off to this amazing start. I know things went sideways for you, but what I want to know is, during these troubled times, man, how did you manage, man? How did you deal with that? Because dude, it had to be a lot of eyes on you.
I grew up watching my mom work. I grew up watching my grandma and grandparents work. I'm from hard time Mississippi, and all I know how to do is just fight and continuing to do what I needed to do. And I set goals that I wanted to do, and I wasn't going to let anybody get in the way or anything get in the way to where I needed to be.
Gotcha.
I ended up going to Southern Miss and ended up signing with the USFL. And Donald Trump, you heard it right, Donald Trump messed up the USFL. And then, I ended up getting hurt, getting my knee tore up in the USFL. Yeah. So then I'm like, what am I going to do now? And I had set out for, I had the surgery that, back then they didn't have orthoscopic. I heard somebody say the other day, I was watching some on Facebook, why did Marcus Dupree not come back so soon? No sooner than what he did. He had knee surgery. Somebody else had knee surgery, but they didn't. I think he said Adrian Peterson or somebody had knee surgery, But they had he had the arthroscopic knee surgery. Back then, they cut you open.
Right,
and I got a 5 and 6 inch scar down to my knee. And so I had to sit in a cast for 5 months.
Right.
I said, but hey, that's how it is. And so I got to deal with the cards that's been dealt. And I dealt with them. So I sat out 5 years, and I woke up one morning and I said, you know what, God, if you give me the strength to go out here and work out and see if I can come back and play again, you won't hear nothing else from me. I won't ask for nothing else. Just give me the strength to get out here and work out for 3 months to try to make this team. And it did. I started on May 1st. I started working out, dropped 100 pounds in 3 months. I called Coach Corey, which was my head coach at the Breakers. And but the Rams had already drafted me anyway, so I couldn't go to another team. They had my rights. He said, Marcus, you better on one leg than most guys are on two. So when you get ready to come, we'll fly you out, work you out, and see what happens. And that's what happened.
And you end up with the Los Angeles Rams at that time.
Yes.
Wow. Well, I mean, see, I guess where I'm going with this is you can go from the top of the mountain to the bottom. And when people hit that bottom, especially when they've been so high, usually they just give up. Not Marcus Dupree. Not Marcus Dupree. Marcus Dupree made his mind up, and he went back and got back to the highest level. What was that like when you realized that you had made it back to the highest level, man? What was that like for you?
Well, I just thank God that he allowed that for me. I knew I had the talent. I knew that I didn't want to get old wondering, what if I could have just tried that this one time?
Right.
Just try, give it all you got. Just that one time. If you made the team, you don't have nothing. You don't have to look back over your shoulder and say, "Man, I wish I would have tried." So that was always going through my head, and that's what I did. I was like, "Man, I'm gonna make this team." I know I got the talent. I still got it, and I just couldn't sleep without making sure I could, come back.
Yeah, well, you did what you had to do, and you made it back. Marcus, I also, man, I would like to talk a little bit about after football. Man, you didn't stop. You kept doing some really amazing things, and I want to know how you went from football to acting. I'm trying to figure that one out. How'd you do that? How'd you pull that off?
Well, I don't know. I went from football to being a wrestler. Now, let me go back. Let's go back.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Go back, yeah.
I started wrestling with Dr. Death, who played at OU. And he taught me into trying to, come wrestle. And my friend David Haskins trained me, who at that time, his name was David Rich. If anybody knows anything about wrestling, they know Tommy Rich. So that supposed to have been Tommy Rich's bastard cousin. And so, that's how I got into wrestling. And we grew up watching wrestling when we grew up watching wrestling, Mid-South wrestling, and all that. So I always wanted to try it and just see if I could do it. Junkyard Dog and all those guys like that. And so that I wanted to try it and see what happens. What happened? Yeah.
What did you think of wrestling, though, man, when you did that? I mean, was that something you really enjoyed, or was it just something you was just messing around with?
Well, what did I think about it? That's what you're saying?
Yeah. I mean, because that's a very different transition from football, dude. I mean, wrestling. I mean, I know you knew people, but what made you even want to do that?
Just to see if I could do it. I didn't want to, like once again, there we go. I didn't want to leave. I knew I had the athletic ability. I liked wrestling. I grew up watching wrestling, like the Junkyard Dog and all those people like that. I said, man, I might as well try. I want to see, what it's like. And so that's what happened.
So wrestling.
I went and trained, and next thing you know, I was wrestling.
How long did you do that, Marcus?
I did it for a couple of years up in Memphis. Under Jerry Lawler had a wrestling organization up there.
Okay.
And they were really trying to train me to go to the WWE, but it was like they gone 300 some days a year from home.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, oh no, I got kids. I need to be around my kids. I got this fun and blah blah blah. But it was a dream, and I don't accomplish that dream. So I need to be home with my kids.
I got you. Now, after wrestling, is that when the acting came in?
Well, kind of so, you got to act a little bit in wrestling. So, but the acting came in one day, way later. I was at home one day and I get this call, and I thought it was my cousins playing a joke.
Yeah.
And I was living down in Louisiana, and so I went all day and didn't return the call. So someone said, Marcus, you need to return this call because it just might be something.
Right.
So I called the number back, and so it was Tyler Perry's people, and they were like, you need to call this guy named, what's his name? He played Donatello, but I can't think of his name right now, but I called him. And so when he answered the phone, he go, is this the real Marcus Dupree? And I go, is this a real MF movie? Y'all need to freaking quit playing with me. I ain't never acted. How y'all gonna call me talking about some darn acting? He's like, no. And then Lee Tilton, that's his name. And he played the first Donatello in the Ninja Turtles.
Oh,
so he's a little short guy. So he's like, no, you'll be perfect for this part. I done watch you. I know you can play this part. I said, well, man, I ain't never acted. He said, the ones that go to acting school, the ones who can't act. So that's how I got started.
Wow. And matter of fact, can you share with us how many different roles you've played in how many different movies?
Well, that first movie was I played a kid's dad that was supposedly the number one top player in the state, and I was pushing him so hard to the point that he had a heart attack. But the movie based on a guy whose girlfriend got killed on the way back from a track meet, and he was one of the top track runners in the state, and he could never get his girlfriend out of his head.
Wow, okay.
It's called 1 Mile to You.
1 Mile to You. Okay.
Yep.
And
it's kind of like a Lifetime movie.
Okay.
But it ended up being a pretty good movie, and then that's when next thing I know, another person called me wanting to be in the movie. I'm like, So, Morgan Freeman didn't start acting until he was like 55.
Right. I got you.
So I was like, hey, might as well keep making it work. If they want to keep paying you, they think I'm good at it. So I'm all right at it. So as long as they keep paying me, I'm there. Yeah, I'm here.
It's kind of funny, man. I'm sitting here thinking about, Marcus, you have, you've done a lot of things, and and still you made time to be a part of the golf tournaments down in Tulsa. I mean, dude, you got a lot going on, man. I mean, you really do. You stay busy, and for good causes. I like that. I like the fact that you, even though I didn't like when you got on that 3-wheeler down in Tulsa and told me right after Oklahoma had beat Nebraska that's how y'all roll away from the stadium or something. I was like riding into the sunset. I was a little hot about that one, but your timing was poor. It was a day.
I was right. We just whooped y'all.
No, y'all just beat us on Saturday. Here we are 2 days later playing golf, and you on the 3-wheeler talking about, yo, Rick, this is how we roll away from, after we beat Nebraska. I'm like, oh, man, you don't really want to hear that. So I never forgot that. I just had to throw that in there and let you know. But, no, I really appreciate the fact that you make time for, like, the Children's Hospital and come down and be a part of that.
At the end of the day, Rick, it's all about us getting together. We're all getting older.
Right.
Just being fellowshipping, breaking bread together, having a good time, laughing and talking. You got Oklahoma State guys there too, so it's always a good time to me.
Right.
It's amazing that one day we're all there, and when we first started doing the golf tournament, I guess it had to be about 40 guys there, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around this room, I'm like, man, look at what God was putting all this talent in this room right here.
One room.
People realize how much talent is sitting in this room right here, right now. And I used to just sit there and just look and be at awe. Like, man, they're Kitty King. They're Mike Rozier.
Yeah.
There's who else was there? Billy Sims.
Yeah.
There's Jason White. I mean, it was just amazing, man. I go back and I look at some of those pictures. I got some of the pictures that we took. And I was like, man, boy, it ain't nothing but God. There's so much talent in this room.
I have to give Randy Allison a lot of credit.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Because Randy, man, he welcomed me in too, and I've been going back ever since, and I really have a good time down there. I mean, I don't think none of us are actually going to ever get a green jacket on the golf course.
No, I don't think so either.
But you know what, man? It's for a great cause, and I had real fond memories of the first time I went, and we got in that big room, signed all the footballs, and we broke up into groups and started going to those little kids' room. And man, there's nothing more emotional than walking into a room where there's a kid that's maybe 8 years old, and he has a diagnosis that he's not going to see 9, and his parents
Right.
is in there with him, man, and we go in and give him a football and take pictures and talk to the parents and talk to the kid, you know. I mean, I know that's not a lot compared to what that kid is dealing with, but for like a couple of minutes, man, I mean, that kid gets to forget about. I mean, but you know what I noticed about that is everybody that walked out of the room needed a Kleenex.
Yeah.
You know, and we're wiping the tears away from our eyes because, you know, like you said, we have lived a long life. I mean, this kid is 8 years old, is not going to see his 9th birthday. I mean, it makes it hard for me as a human to complain about anything. Too, I mean, how can I complain about anything, man? I done been through all this I've been through, and I'm still here. Here's a kid. I mean, 8 years old. How much wrong could an 8-year-old be undone? You know, so
right. And you got to ask. Sometimes, you know, I ask myself, why am I still here?
Right.
Why am I still here?
Exactly.
You know, like you said, it's rough to see kids like that. And I see the commercials now, and it breaks my heart. And you know, my little brother grew up with cerebral palsy. He couldn't play ball. He couldn't do none of that stuff. And that always gave me the drive to go out there and.
Yeah, I got you. It makes total sense, Marcus. I mean, I know it's tough, man. I mean, I don't really know what to say to that because I've never experienced that. But all I'm saying is, man, you've been a stand-up guy, and to me, you know, I look for stand-up type people because the world is full of things that I don't quite understand anymore. You know, and,
I don't either, Rick.
Yeah, and I'm not.
Really
you know what, Marcus? I'm not that political guy. I'm not that religious guy. But we had this thing back when I was growing up, and I'm sure it was the same for you. It's just called common sense.
Yep, common sense.
Yeah, common sense, and I'll leave it right there. I mean,
no, I'm not a political person either, Rick, and I just can't believe some of the stuff that we're going through. I would never thought. You know, growing up in a town like Philadelphia, Mississippi, you know, that's the home of Mississippi Burning. You see, if anybody's seen the movie, I would have never thought, you know, we'll be going through so much race dividedness, I guess you could say, in this day and time.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, and it burns me up. It hurts my soul.
Yes.
But, you know, you can only do what you can do. I still try to I was raised to treat. If you're black, white, yellow, whatever, as long as they treat you with respect, you treat them with respect.
Right.
And be a respectful person. And but it bothers me every day when I turn the TV on, and there's so much, you know, us being divided now. So,
well, Mark, I'm gonna say it like this, man. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to do this podcast, man, because. I just want people to see the real people behind the names. And you've done a great job of doing that. And I just want you to know, man, that we're brothers for life. And, excuse me, I appreciate you, man. And I want to say that publicly because a lot of times we don't want to give people their due credit or their flowers, as they would like to call it, while they're here. You want to wait till after the fact, then you want to stand up at a service and talk about how great somebody was. I'd rather give them to you face to face or, you know, while you're here to enjoy them. So we're going to wrap this up, man. And, you know, I just want to hope everybody is enjoying, you know, these podcasts, man, because I'm going to encourage you to subscribe to my channel, man, so that you get a weekly notification that we're putting these shows out. Because these shows are to help people, man. And Marcus, again, man, I know you're busy, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time, but I'm going to wrap this show up the same way I wrap up every show. Every day you blessed to see, it's just another day in paradise. And you got to look like somebody and do that for yourself, man.
No doubt. No doubt, bro.
All right, man. You take care, man.